The author of the 2013 Newbery Award, the author of the 2013 Newbery Award winner, the one and only Ivan. Next on the Bedley Brothers.
We are thrilled. This is a year in the making, I have to tell you, that we are so thrilled to bring in Katherine Applegate today. And Tim, I'm glad you didn't mess up her name, just the Newbery Award name, which in the edits you probably won't hear that. But we're so thankful to welcome the Newbery Award winner, medalist, New York Times bestseller, author of 160 plus books. If you don't know that, you got to check out things like the Animorphs, like just amazing author. And we're thrilled to have you here, Katherine. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. I'm actually a big fan, so this is very cool for me.
Oh, a big fan. Okay, thanks. Oh, wow.
I'm blushing.
Okay, Katherine, I've got some questions, first of all, just from a fan perspective about the book. We get started with that. First of all, this is probably a strange question, but the text structure of the book is very unique. And I was fascinated by it. I thought, boy, if I could talk to her, I'd love to ask her why she did things the way that she did. And so you have titles that are written in a small font in italics with no caps, which breaks all the rules, of course, of writing chapter titles. You have no indents on your paragraphs. You have gaps between the paragraphs, which in most books, indicates a change of setting. So what was your thinking that went into that? I'm just super curious.
That's such a great question because nobody has ever actually asked me that. I don't know. I know a lot of writers are like this. I think structurally before I think content, which is maybe a little weird. So I'm thinking about scaffolding. I'm thinking about what the book looks like. I knew I wanted very spare text because this is based on a true story about an animal that was kept in captivity for 27 years. I wanted to kind of reflect that experience. But the fonts and the lack of indents and that sort of thing, it just looked right on the page. It kept it really simple. And I was fortunate to have an editor, Ann Hoppy, who was very open to, to playing with that sort of thing.
That is cool. Tell us about the true story of Ivan that this is based on.
So bizarre. I came across this, 20 years ago maybe, and Ivan was a real gorilla who was living in a kind of decrepit shopping mall in Tacoma, Washington, called the BNI, and he had been ordered essentially, along with another female baby gorilla from Central Africa, like you order a pizza. And he was brought there to increase, foot traffic in the mall. He lived briefly with humans and kind of lived a human life, but as he got bigger, they moved him into this cage, and he spent 27 years there. Eventually, people were, I started to realize that animals in captivity needed more, they needed to be with other animals of their own kind, of course, and they needed more stimulation. They needed room, and there was a real public outcry, which says a lot about the people locally. I mean, letters to the editor and litigation, and eventually Ivan was released to Zoo Atlanta, and he lived out the rest of his life in the company of other gorillas. So it had a fairly happy ending.
And was there actually an elephant in the mall as well, and a dog? And I mean, how much of this is fiction and how much of it's true?
Well, I started out trying to write it very journalistically, and the story sort of took off on its own, and I realized I needed, an interlocutor. If I needed somebody for Ivan to talk to, and so I started fictionalizing it, trying to incorporate as much of the real story as I could. I know there was a baby elephant briefly at the mall. I don't know what happened to her. Some of the other animals that show up, a seal, that sort of thing, they were there. But Bob the dog, for example, is my creation.
Katherine, I think this is one of the few books that has really moved me to tears when I'm reading it with my students. And I had likened it, I talked to you about this before the show, I likened it really to this generation Charlotte's Web. And would you just talk about maybe some of the impact that you've seen as you've traveled around. I know you went to a good friend, Janine Letford's school, and you yourself were moved by that experience. But can you just talk about some of the reactions that you've been getting out there as you've traveled around and talked to people about this novel?
You know, I think maybe it resonates because it's based on a true story, and because kids are vulnerable themselves, and you know, often that animal-human connection is one of the first places we see empathy really evolving with kids. I have had the most amazing experiences doing community reads, and that's what Janine Letford and Kelly Spector did at New Academy in Canoga Park, which is in California. Just amazing. But this has happened to me a million times over, and but that one in particular I remember because they had choreographed a dance to the Ivan story, and they had art, and they had, you know, every kind of participation imaginable for these kids, and I was just in tears most of the time I was there. I did a global read aloud with Pernille Rip, who does this every year, and I think the website is theglobalreadaloud.com. It's amazing because it's classrooms all over the world connecting. I did one in Chicago that was really memorable with Lisa Nagel, who is a Chicago librarian, Wilmette, and she managed to partner with a sister school that mostly serves immigrant and refugee populations, and together managed to get them books, managed to get them to visit the Lincoln Park Zoo. I was able to connect with the kids. It was just remarkable, and in fact we're doing a presentation at ALA in June in San Francisco about that experience. So it's been amazing what teachers and librarians come up with.
So super cool. We're coming close to our end of our show. Our show goes so fast. But Tim, do you want to ask anything really fast before I go here?
Definitely. Now, you won the 2013 Newbery Award, which is kind of like being the quarterback on the football team that wins the Super Bowl, being the champion, you know, the boxing champion of the world or something. I mean, that's like as high as you can go when you're an author. So I'm sure that I mean, experience, I just can't imagine what that would be like to be writing. You've written 160-something books, and then you come to this book and you win it all. I mean, you're the Newbery Award winner. What was that like?
Oh, it was just surreal because there were so many amazing books that year, as there are every year, and it feels like winning the lottery. It's just, you just simply can't believe it. And the best part about it is that, you know, a lot of our books end up on the remainders table, all of us, and to have it, you know, stay in the hands of readers a lot longer because of the Newbery is such an honor. I can't tell you how exciting it was.
Do you have any anecdotes of something that's how your life has changed since you won the Newbery Award or the actual receiving of that award?
Well, my first experience with the power of the Newbery, I did a great children's lit conference at Western Washington University. They have one coming up, I think, pretty soon. And I was late to get to my panel, and I got in the restroom line was, you know, like out the door for several miles because, you know, women. And the line just parted like the Red Sea to allow me through, and people were going, well, she won the Newbery, let her go, let her go. I was like, wow, I have arrived.
You get to go to the front of the bathroom line. That's classic.
That's a VIP experience for sure. Now, is that the actual medal before we wrap it up here? Is that the medal behind you?
I can get it. It's very cool. It's I thought it would be something I could wear. You know, when I received it, I said, "Man, I thought I could be wearing this to Target every day." And believe me, I would. But it's just it's just freestanding. And there are some kids with Mr. Newbery in the back there, and it's quite heavy, you know. So.
Very nice. So, any quick scoops you can give us on something that's in the works for you? I'm sure you're maybe not there or maybe there. I don't know.
Well, I have a picture book that just came out called Ivan, the Remarkable Story of the Shopping Mall Gorilla. I just happen to have it here. Hilarious. I have a book coming out with Fywell and Friends pretty soon. It's called Crenshaw, and it involves a kid who is homeless and hungry and an imaginary friend. And that's all I can tell you.
Okay. That was a good tease. Katherine, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and we really are huge fans. This is an honor to get a chance to meet and talk to you. And again, we just appreciate you sharing with the audience.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a ball.
Thank you so much, Katherine. Hey, and before we sign off, just a reminder to everybody that we are promoting and super excited about the Global School Play Day, first Wednesday in February of every year. So make sure that you get involved in that and check out and learn more at globalschoolplayday.com. So thanks again, Katherine, and we hope to be talking to you again sometime soon.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for watching, Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad.